Raw reunion. Raw reunion. Whew, there's a lot of people on this show tonight to talk about. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to say right now, was this a ratings pop to get you to sit to the end to see the biggest stars you want to see? Oh, yeah, this was a ratings pop, all right. But was this a good show, as some say? And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people's promos, despite all the nostalgia and all the people you like that you haven't seen probably in years or months or have been in another company right now or doing their own thing back on this show. And does this change anything for you, especially being in Tampa, Florida? And Monday Night Raw, what do we kick it off with, huh? Because there's a lot of people to run down this list who came on this show tonight. And we kicked it off with John Cena, who hasn't been seen since WrestleMania as the Dr. Thuganomics. John Cena, I expect him to get a bigger pop, but he had a good pop when he came out there. This is probably the only time you're going to see him on this show until whenever, maybe SummerSlam, hopefully. But he pretty much talked about, all he had to do to be on the Raw reunion was to get fans to be nice to him. The fans, they started chanting Cena. Cena talked about who was going to be on this show tonight. Pretty much said so I'm just like you guys. I could not miss this, he said. Pretty much John Cena said this is his home. He pointed out, to the ring, everything. This is always going to be his home in the WWE. And Cena pretty much says, he's not around as much as he used to be, but he's excited to be back in the ring. And, he's a day one guy. And he said, let's get this show on the road. Because I said, Cena, he pretty much had his full gear out there again. And for a minute, I actually thought he was about to wrestle a match then. The Usos came out then and joined Cena. And pretty much the Usos said, since day one, huh? Since you said day one? And the Usos said, nah, man. We want to see the Thuganomics John Cena. We want to see the Doctor. I'm like, who is this, huh? This ain't the John Cena. This the other side. This the other Cena, man. That's the cat who left us for the movie business right now. that ain't the real John Cena. And then John Cena, he spit one bar, but it was pretty cool. And he said, pretty much told the Usos that, y'all try to come out here, think I'll be bested. Let's talk about your mug shots. The last time y'all been arrested, they love taking shots at the Usos getting arrested all the time, which I thought was funny. The Usos said, "Yo, shout out to the Hobson County out there." So the Usos they got a lot of arrest records on them, but they have fun with it though. So I thought it was actually a good bar Cena spit out there. Cena pretty much he was gonna leave again, but Uso said, nah, man. They brought out Rikishi in. Fans chanted Rikishi. I don't know why he didn't come out to his regular theme song, the one with the dance on it, but it was like the one with Too Cool. And they had their own separate theme songs and everything. People chanted Rikishi. Cena was gonna leave again, but Rikishi said, nah, back that ass back up here, okay? Because Rikishi said, with respect, you are the man, but we can't let you leave Fast and Furious, because we all know John Cena is now part of the Fast and Furious franchise for that movie series. But pretty much then John Cena was gonna do, I guess, dance with the Usos and Rikishi. I actually thought they were gonna put the sunglasses on John Cena so they could do the dance. I thought that would have been fun. Next thing you know, the Revival come out and they bring Devon with them. Devon Dudley, I guess Ring of Honor didn't want to let Bully Ray come over there, or he wasn't invited to something. And we can have both the Dudleys, but we just get Devon. No Bully Ray. Probably, I'm sure there's gonna be a joke about him interrogating somebody in Ring of Honor right now, or some fan or something. But pretty much being the first part of the show, John Cena being out there was that was great. Really good opening. Got Cena, Rikishi out there coming back. Devon, but it is funny that they just kind of keep taking shots at the Usos arrest records for some reason. I don't know why, but they have a fun time doing that. But it was fun to see Cena back on the show again. Like I said, the guy hasn't been there since WrestleMania and everything. So yeah, we just got regular Cena. But pretty much then after that, Booker T came out. We're gonna see a lot of guest commentators on this show tonight. Booker T was on commentating the match with the Revival versus the Usos again. I feel like I've seen this match a lot. Didn't we see this match last week on the pay-per-view Extreme Rules? And Booker T pretty much saying like the the Revival, they were like the Brain Busters, or like Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson and others, which it's funny because both of them work for AEW right now, as somebody says. I just saw Tully Blanchard, isn't he now managing Shawn Spears, if I'm not mistaken, or anything? But one thing that was noticeable, during this match with the commercial, they did that side-by-side thing that SmackDown does. So I will say one positive thing for tonight, there wasn't any 2 out of 3 falls or elimination matches and everything. So at least they somewhat found a way to get through the whole commercial thing. So let's just do the side split screen thing and stuff instead of just restart the match and stuff, which we still somewhat saw that tonight. But it's better than just doing a 2 out of 3 falls match. Usos pretty much got the win, beating the tag team champions. I don't know why we're still going with that. Like I said, the champions lose on a Yes, the champions lose for free on TV. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a problem with that. Some people are going to try to bypass it just because, it's, a reunion show. But still, the champions are losing on TV. Next thing you know, they went to Alicia Fox in the back, which Alicia Fox, I don't want to really count her as listen, Alicia Fox has been in the company for over 10 years, so I guess she's a legend in her own right when you look at it, but Alicia Fox still works for the company, okay? Alicia Fox is still technically part of the main roster. I'm going to kind of get near that on the end, too, but I know Fox has had some problems lately over the whole drinking thing, and pretty much the reason why, alleged the reason why Arn Anderson was fired from this company to begin with, but, excuse me. Why are they really replaying that? But still, I just thought Fox was just back just to be back. I didn't really just think of the reunion show. I just know she's already part of the main roster, so I didn't really take anything away from that of her just being a part of this reunion show. So she still works in the company, people. She still does. Next thing you know, Caitlyn. I did not even know that was Caitlyn for a second because Dana Brooke was there too. There was no pop for Caitlyn, by the way. I don't even think people even knew who she was. It took me a second to figure out. I had to look close, and it was her. And then Tori Wilson showed up, and then Santino Marella showed up then, which, Caitlyn and Dana Brooke disappeared. And they asked Santino about his sister and then his little friend, the Cobra puppet he pulled out then. Drew McIntyre walked by them, and he said, "Legends," and just walked off then after that. They then went to Charlie Caruso interviewing Truth and Carmella as they showed footage from Comic-Con probably about a day or two ago. And surprisingly, I saw this on the IGN live stream because I was just looking up to see what they had on Comic-Con. I'm like, oh, R-Truth is there. Because he defended the title because Spud and the Hurricane showed up on that show. So, and then, they tried to roll him up, but he ended up, still defending the title and getting away with it on the IGN live stream that I swear they didn't even really know what to think about it. But it was defended at Comic-Con, people. But next you know, Spud's wife, Renee Michelle, walked off and her start about talking the truth, how he has ruined her life and everything. And Carmella pretty much started arguing with her. Spud ended up rolling up R-Truth. Pretty much now becoming the new 24/7 champion, which we are going to see a lot of the 24/7 title tonight. Probably the most creative and built thing they've done throughout this entire night of the show than any other championship. Really, this was probably the title that was, had the most creative, attention tonight. But pretty much then after everybody left, the Godfather's music hit. And the crowd did pop for Godfather, I will say that. And they said it was time for everybody to ride aboard the whole train. I almost thought they weren't even going to let him say that. Listen, I know they're not going to let him bring out 20 women with him. So I got to remember, this is not the Attitude Era. This is not 1999, 2000. And we cannot bring any hoes on TV, or else people on the internet most likely are going to bitch about that. But it was nice to see Godfather, and he is still over. Drew McIntyre versus Cedric Alexander was supposed to happen, but these two ended up fighting each other on the outside. McIntyre pretty much got the upper hand on him, which he did that inverted Alabama slam on, Alexander on the face of the apron then. So I don't know why they just couldn't give him his win back and everything, but I guess this was just the way, just, hey, beat him, no one takes a loss right here, and, Cedric got a beat down at this point. We then go back to Spud, I guess, gathering his stuff. He was trying to get his things from the locker room. The boogeyman showed up with the worms, since he found it was worms in the locker room and stuff. Next to him, he fell back to the ground. Boogeyman was gone. Pat Patterson shows up, pretty much kicks Spud, and then pretty much puts his foot on him, pins him. So Pat Patterson, he has held the hardcore title, and now he has held the 24/7 championship now. So yes, Pat Patterson, former Intercontinental Champion, former Stooge in the Attitude Era champion. Next thing you know, Christian, good to see him again. I don't know why we can bring Edge out there too, but Christian was back. Also Lillian Garcia, pretty much to be the announcer again. Yeah, you haven't heard her voice in a while. Pretty much it was the Viking Raiders versus Hawkins and Ryder. I swear to you, Hawkins and Ryder have WWE 2K generic music when they come out. There's not much to say from this other than it was a squash match. So yeah, the Viking Raiders win. From this point in time, I don't know where they're going with them. I honestly don't know. There was a Legends party in the back, and I'm trying to see what I saw back there. Jimmy Hart, Jillian Hall I haven't seen in a very long time. Some of the same people from earlier. I guess Mike Bennett was talking with she was pretty much talking with Eve Torres and Eric Bischoff, which he got a good pop, which the man who was supposed to be on SmackDown, supposed to be taking over SmackDown. I don't know how true that is. We're hearing different reports now. But pretty much Maria came in pissed off, as Eve said, she's a mom and she may be able to help Maria. And Eric says that doesn't work. You guys should come over to SmackDown. Get the joke right there. SmackDown. So remember, people, Bischoff, he's supposed to be running on SmackDown. So I guess let's tease him and put him on Raw tonight. Maria, of course, punked out Mike Bennett and everything. Talk about rubbing lotion on her pregnant belly and stretch marks. And she's the breadwinner in the family. Ron Simmons shows up, takes Jimmy Hart's megaphone, and damn. Okay, so there you go on that. We then went to the OC. Oh, I'm gonna say a lot about them later on, since they had new t-shirts there. Well, I guess it's not the club, and I guess they're going by the OC, which means original club, which they really can't call themselves that. Well, Carl Anderson can, since he is the original member to the Bullet Club, and Finn Balor, if you want to go about that. Because, listen, AJ Styles and Luke Gallows didn't join the Bullet Club till later. So it's a lot of contradictory when we're calling themselves the OC, or, original club, okay? So, yeah, you can't, it's kind of hard to call him that. But next, Pat Patterson was on the ground somewhere. Gerald Briscoe, the other stooge, then pretty much pinned Pat Patterson to become the 24/7 champion. Next thing you know, Briscoe runs into Kelly Kelly, who is back, who pretty much knees him in the nuts, apparently, and now Kelly Kelly is the first ever woman to hold the 24/7 championship. I'm assuming that was going to happen pretty soon, so, yeah, so there you go, excuse me, Kelly Kelly, first woman to hold the 24/7 title. Samoa Joe came out then and talked about this whole Raw reunion show, how it's a plague to the WWE, and how it just lets the WWE universe, put on the rose-colored glasses and indulge their nostalgia and everything and stuff, just, to have a good time. But, I would come out here to do what I do best and everything, but instead you got the Usos and their daddy spitting out, I guess lyrics with John Cena out here. Roman Reigns came up then. He came out and says, what you say about my family? And he's like, nah. He says, he said, go on and say it. And Joe said, I already said something about your family, all right? I ain't say it. I did, okay? Reigns pretty much said that, Joe is from an island, same island and stuff, Samoan and everything. So y'all know what happens next. And pretty much Joe took a cheap shot. They pretty much started brawling with each other. Joe threw Roman back into the ring. Roman ended up hitting with a Superman punch then to knock him out of the ring then. As Joe pretty much was on the outside. He looked like he was going to get back in, but he out in the microphone then as Roman pretty much says, listen, that's not all Samoans alike, okay? But Joe said he has to do anything for these people and stuff. Because Roman says that all Samoans are cowards, but Joe pretty much says like, you want it, all right? You want it? He's oh yeah, let's do it then, all right? So another match with Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe, and I didn't mind Samoa Joe's promo; it was good. But once I knew Reigns came out, I could tell you right now, Samoa Joe was about to be buried right here, people. So do not be really surprised by the outcome of where this goes. And, it's funny. Roman's coming out here to defend his family and everything. Could the Usos just come out and fight Joe themselves? Since he talked about their dad and everything, so you could have just done that. But this match wasn't much to talk about. Roman beat Joe, spear. So there you go. Once again, Joe, the guy just loses again. Why am I not surprised? Okay, I'm just not surprised by this. Miz TV happened for some reason, which Miz, of course, has to promote his show. Miz and Mrs. I don't know if that comes back tomorrow or not after SmackDown, but it's coming back soon. I don't even know why Miz was even out here for this segment, but they had Seth Rollins come out, talk about the whole match with Brock Lesnar, and talk about how he lost the title with the Money in the Bank thing, and, Corbin and stuff. And pretty much Seth talked about Brock then. Pretty much, who wouldn't want to be Lesnar? He says Brock is big and strong. He's big. He's a big guy. He's really big and stuff. So this promo was kind of strange how you just kind of walk around and say, I'm Brock Lesnar. I'm a big guy. And all this stuff. Like, that's what he is and everything. I didn't know where that was supposed to be going, to be honest. And pretty much Rollins said that Lesnar is just Rollins wannabe. Paul Heyman pretty much got on the big screen, was in the gorilla position, pretty much talking Seth. Let me give you a dose of reality. Okay, he said, listen, you cashed in your Money in the Bank thing on, on Brock at WrestleMania 31. And then pretty much Rollins said that, he did, and he took it from Lesnar 4 years ago, and he returned the favor, so he's a Rollins wannabe. And Heyman says, don't come out here bitching and everything because you lost the title and it's just your fault, okay? You lost the championship. But Rollins pretty much told Heyman and says, come on, keep talking and everything, because you have to be prepared to walk the walk also. And pretty much as Heyman came out, he gave Heyman 5 seconds to leave the stage. Heyman says he's an advocate. Rollins did the whole fast count thing as Heyman ran back. Rollins pretty much says that, Heyman has built Lesnar as a conqueror and a beast and all this stuff, but he says that any man can lose. At SummerSlam, he will lose the championship. Pretty much, of course, he hyped his match for Styles, but does this promo leave you really hyped for Rollins to face Brock at SummerSlam? Or does anybody honestly want to see this match again, to be honest, when you think about it? So, does anybody want to see it? Like, I didn't mind Rollins' promo, but the whole him just walking like, oh, I'm Brock, I'm a big guy, that was just really strange for him to do that for some reason. But we got hyped SummerSlam somehow. They then went back to the reunion party again. Sami Zayn was there, talking about the legends, and you're just taking up precious television time, and that you're not legends and stuff. You just happen to be here at the right time, so you're just desperate for one more cheer and told the legends to go home. Rey Mysterio came up then saying that, listen, we paved the way for you, and Zayn pretty much laughed and said he didn't respect any of them. Kurt Angle, who shows up then, talk about when he was general manager, we settled things in the ring. So apparently Kurt Angle is the general manager again and can book matches again with Rey Mysterio and Sami Zayn. Because Kurt Angle has not been seen since the night after WrestleMania. I still can't believe they screwed that dude to him losing to Corbin in Mania, though. That was just a bunch of shit. But yeah, at least it was just good to see Kurt Angle in general, I guess. But when he had the power to book matches again, Kelly still had the championship. It's just she ran into Candice Michelle, who was back. Still looks good. With Melina and Naomi, gotta admit, man, they all look good, though. You gotta admit that. Next thing you know, Melina said she was training, I guess, to get her license to be a referee. Candice ended up attacking Kelly and pinned her. So Candice Michelle won the 24/7 title. She did her little twirl that she always does. She is still hot, by the way. Next thing you know, Medusa comes out, and I guess she starts choking out Candice, and she tapped out. So, which I don't even know if that was. That chokehold didn't even look like a chokehold. I don't know what that was. But Medusa won the title. So she is the 24/7 champion. Said that she wouldn't be champion for long because she said, if there's anything they're going to have, they better say they better face quickly. Rey Mysterio winning against Sami Zayn then. Jonathan Coachman is another commentator we had to bring out. One of the worst commentators on this show for Raw. Listen, I'd rather have Booker T be back her commentary, and let's take out Renee Young, okay? Half the people y'all brought back tonight on commentary, I would have put them out there. But as this match came on, you kept going with Rey Mysterio and Sami Zayn. Rey was about to hit the 619. Zayn rolled out. Next thing you know, RVD's music hit. RVD, who is currently on Impact Wrestling right now and who just wrestled at Slammiversary over a week ago against Moose, is now on this show in his full gear for some reason. I guess Impact is letting, RVD borrow him. Some say it's because they, Rhino came at Slammiversary a little bit too early before his contract came out. Listen, Impact and WWE have done these things before, though, where they kind of let some of their talent borrow each other to be on shows. Because there was a point in time when Christian was part of the WWE roster, but they let Christian go back to TNA for TNA's 10th anniversary, if I'm not mistaken. And Flair was on both shows at one point because of the Hall of Fame and stuff. So, but I was just looking like, I says, why is RVD on his full gear? RVD looked like he was ready to wrestle a match. I wouldn't have minded that, but he got a big pop, though, when his music hit. But then next, they bring out Sergeant Slaughter, then the Hurricane, then Kurt Angle, and they all pretty much blocked them. And, they pretty much walk towards Zayn. Rey Mysterio hits the 619, hits the flash, the splash and everything, or 5-star frog splash, and got the win. So we gotta get all the legends as much as we can on TV tonight, okay? But our RVD being on here, like, it's just kind of funny because we know this guy is on Impact right now. So why is he here? There was a limo coming in. Ric Flair came out, who looked like his head was already... Ric Flair, every time I see this guy, he's always about to bleed for some reason. He's not in a match, but I guess he's punching himself in the head to get ready. Like, how did he get a cut on his head? Like, it's like every time I see Rick, it's like he just bleeds. It's like he doesn't have to do nothing. He's bled for so many years. He just does it naturally now, okay? The guy just bleeds all the time. The Street Profits were in the back then, as Angelo Dawkins, was talking about getting blazed with RVD, I guess, and talking about how he was with the legends at the party and thing. Ford was, kind of starstruck and stuck, I guess, about it. But then Dawkins said he had a call from the Godfather and he walked off. So I still don't know why they're here, but at least that was something a little bit funny. Dawkins, he was high, man, with Van Dam out back there tonight, I guess. Medusa came back out, and pretty much she was about to do what she did on WCW years ago and throw the title in the trash can. But next thing you know, the $1 Million Man came out, Ted DiBiase, and pretty much he bought the title from her. So now he is the new 24/7 champion. So I guess, hey, everyone has a price. I can't do the laugh, but everybody has a price. So this title's been switching around all night, folks. Okay, it has been switching around all night. Next thing you know, the OC comes out, which you had new graphics. And let me say this about the OC. I know I talked about it earlier about it being the intro and everything. Not intro, the intro and not intro, but the name. But when you hear the OC, it pretty much, and people were saying this all night, it's like that show, I said like the OC, wasn't that a show about Orange County? It was like a show on Fox from back then. And listen, if they wanted to come out to a song, they probably would have came out to this. California. California. that's funny though. Said the OC. So AJ Styles and them should come out to California now. In fact, Alexa, play California.
Here's California Girls featuring.
No. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. No, that's
California Girls.
No,
featuring Snoop Dogg by Katy Perry.
No, Alexa, stop. That's not the song I want you to play. I meant the other California. Okay, I don't remember who was the band that made the song to begin it. Yeah, Alexa, play California by Phantom Planet. That's what it was called.
California, Chad Blake Mix by Phantom Planet on Amazon Music.
I don't know if that's gonna work. Yeah, see, that's what AJ Styles and probably should have came out to. That's what they should have cared. If it's the OC, they might as well come out to that song. I don't know how I remembered that, because I said, what's that show on Fox? See, there it goes. That's what they should have came out to. That's the funny part about it, though. Okay, Alexa, stop. But yeah, the only reason why I remember that song too, because it was on an episode of The Simpsons, and it was something to do with Snoopy robbing people from the show when they were parodying it. So that's kind of how I remember it. But pretty much AJ Styles went against Seth Rollins. Next thing you know, as the match pretty much went on, Rollins was out the ring. The OC was about to get him. Next thing you know, DX comes out, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, which is also Shawn Michaels' birthday, by the way. Thank God he was wearing a hat this time. An NXT hat also. So pretty much DX and Rollins were like they were about to go against the OC for a second. But what happens? The the match restarts then, and the match kind of goes on. Rollins is going to go for the curb stomp, but Gallows and Anderson get in, and, DX gets in and stuff. And, at one point I said, I guess this is DX protecting the NXT property right now, which is Seth Rollins. And next they're having this stare down, and AJ was like, "You're one of us," which, here's the thing that doesn't make sense when you look at it. I know AJ wasn't there, but correct me if I'm wrong, because they hold up the Too Sweet sign, and everything, looking at Shawn and Triple H, which, even though the Bullet Club stole all of DX and NWO's thing anyway in New Japan, pretty much Shawn and Hunter tell them to suck it. They end up throwing the OC out of the ring. They had chairs. Next thing you know, Road Dogg comes out, does his intro, and he has X-Pac and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash out there with him then. Pretty much the NWO and DX are out there, minus Billy Gunn. AEW right now, as OC. Well, let me introduce to the OGs pretty much on and get the step in quick, which is really funny, because if you go back to the Raw 25 show over a year ago, and I know AJ wasn't out there with it, but didn't they have Finn, Gallows, and Anderson all do Too Sweet signs with DX and the NWO and the Clique? Pretty much all three groups out there pretty much, and they were all cool about it, almost like a passing to the torch thing it's called. But now all of a sudden, now we're against each other, even though y'all all cool throwing up Too Sweet signs back in January of last year and stuff, when it was like this whole Club DX Click NWO thing, which it's just funny though, like some people say, when they just say, "You're one of us," you do know you stole their whole thing of telling people to suck it and putting up Too Sweet signs, right? So there you go. So pretty much the OGs have beaten the OCs, and since Rollins is up there, he says, "If you're not down with that, we got two words for you: suck it." And all the NWO DX member clicks to start putting up the Too Sweet signs, and Jerry Lawler was on commentary too, so that was another legend out there. But I just kind of find it funny that a year ago they were all throwing up the Too Sweet together, but now they're against each other now for some reason. I still think this OC name, the original club, doesn't make a lot of sense, just because only one of these guys were part of the original club. And I'm sure people say, OC, that show was on Fox back then, play California. But next thing you know, Ted DiBiase was getting to the limo laughing. Next thing you know, there was a bunch of noise coming through it. Spud, who managed to win the 24/7 champion again, and pretty much he won the title. He told his wife that he won, but then next thing you know, the usual suspects started chasing him. Mick Foley second. Throat. Yes, Mick Foley was out there pretty much to get his cheap pop in Tampa, Florida. And pretty much next thing you know, the man who pretty much brought this whole title, 24/7 title, Foley to begin with, pretty much Spud and the Usual Suspects started chasing and started doing the chasing thing and passing along him. Mick said he would get his hands on the title, but then as he want to talk about some of the best moments on Raw that's happened in his life, him winning the title. Next thing you know, everything went out. Bray Wyatt shows up, the Fiend. He pretty much, he couldn't, I guess Foley wasn't going to take any bumps here, so he put the mandible claw on him, and lights kept going all over the place with Wyatt laughing. So at least, Foley did put over Wyatt, I guess, when you look at it, letting him do that. So I guess I got to make this Fiend thing look as good as usual. Next thing you know, moment of bliss. The girl that wants to complain on Twitter about everybody because they booed her out of the building and thought that match was shit she was in last week. You can't blame that crowd for what they did. It's just funny she bitched on Twitter about it. But her and Nikki Cross were out there to talk to Becky Lynch. Pretty much defending the title at SummerSlam against Natalya. Natalya came out talking about Becky then. Pretty much said you could say it to my face and that I once teamed you in Japan years ago. But then Becky said, listen, you tried to cut my legs off before I even got in this company. You helped Ronda Rousey train to beat me at WrestleMania. As Becky said, she's going to embarrass Natalya in her home country. And they brawled, and that's pretty much the end of that segment. Spud pretty much was running as he was out of breath, was about to get in a limo with his wife, but next thing you know, Truth tried to roll him up. He held on to his wife, but Carmella kicked him. Spud was on the ground. Truth regained the title, and the limo pretty much went away with his wife as Spud pretty much wanted, my baby, my title. Then he says, my wife. So pretty much this championship has changed hands 8 times tonight. We went from Spud to Pat Patterson to Gerald Briscoe to Kelly Kelly to Candice Michelle to Medusa to Ted DiBiase, back to Spud, and now back to Truth in a full circle. So this title has gotten more TV time than any other championship on this show, and probably had more of a creative process tonight, technically, if you want to go from that point. So that's how much time this championship has had throughout the entire night, and it's changed 8 times. Braun Strowman went against some dude named Randy Rowe. Wasn't really much to talk about it. Strowman won squash match, so there you go. Like I said, the crowd's starting to die out a little here then, but next thing you know, they bring up, the best thing I guess people were waiting throughout the whole night. Of course, Ric Flair comes out, got a big pop. Next, the legends that were all throughout here tonight came out. Hulk Hogan came out next. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Which, this is the only way this was going to work for Hogan to get cheered. And some people said this on the internet tonight. Number one, this is from Tampa, Florida. So Hogan is from here, even though I felt that was a mixed reaction when he came out anyways. But this was the only time he was going to get cheered. And they kind of waited to the end of the night. So I feel like, in a way, as some put it, this was strategically planned to get Hogan out here so he would not get booed, because if they did this probably in any other city or something, he'd probably get booed out of the building, because we all know about the racist shit. So that's why I say still fuck him. And I've already had to deal with comments when people say, I'm not going to get into the whole thing because I've explained this many times enough, but do not come to me and try to tell me and say why I have not forgiven Hogan yet. I don't see what he said was forgivable, and y'all can fuck off if you want to bring that comment to me, to be honest. But yeah, this was the only way that it looked like they got Hogan cheered, because it was in Tampa, and they give him a live mic, and that's why I kind of stopped paying attention then. Talked about this is his town, and Hulkamania. But next thing you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, probably the person they were waiting for the whole night, really, since they've been promoting his new show on USA all night. But Stone Cold came out then, probably one of the biggest pops of the night, almost like the Raw 25 thing. He was the best part of that show too, was the Raw. He was the only great part of the Raw 25 thing was Stone Cold, and him just coming out, and he had the beer, he comes out, does his pose, the glass breaks. I don't care what anyone ever tells me, to this day, nobody on this roster right now, I should say, is never gonna get to the pop Stone Cold has ever have. Okay, Stone Cold still has one of the best pops to this day, and the crowd is gonna go nuts when that glass breaks. Okay, I don't care what anyone tells me. All right, so there you go. But Austin came out. Of course, he had some beers out there, a lot of beers and everything, but I'm glad he had some mic time. And he said, because people chanting Austin, people said, give me a hell yeah. Fans chanting hell yeah. He says, nah, give me a hell yeah. And they did a few more times, but he said it was good to be back in Tampa. And pretty much he talked about on the road, his brothers and sisters. He didn't think for a second that I'm not getting sentimental and everything, but he looked at everybody on that stage. Anyone on that stage has been in his company that's ever bled, sweat, cried tears, took a shit on themselves, pissed themselves. He looked at them as they were his family and everything. And he even looked into the crowd. He looked into the camera. Anybody, the ring crew, production team, anyone, that they are all part of this WWE family. He was thankful. It was a celebration to this, illustrious reunion. And of course, when he was, talking about what he's been doing, of course, you get those iconic what chants every time he said something. Hamburger, what? A hot dog, what? A beer, what? Another beer, what? Of course, you got the what chants and everything. And he talked about how he was doing a podcast, I guess, with Hogan, and drank some beer, ate some sushi, talking about Ric Flair stories all night, which that was kind of funny. And talk about the room service he ate, and talk about another round, and talk about how Ron Simmons got off the elevator and everything. He beat him to the punch with a damn and everything. But he said that this is all about a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and he was thankful for this reunion tonight. And he pretty much invited all the legends to come out down there and celebrate it with him. I will say, and I've said about Alicia Fox earlier, it's just something about her just coming out there just didn't make sense. I know she's been in the company for over 10 to 12 years, but it's just like she's still part of the current roster, and she's still active on here. So it was just kind of tough to put her out there with the legends. I'm sure people said she was just kind of cringe out there, especially with a lot of dancing she kept doing, especially Hogan's music. But he invited all the legends to come out and everything, and he put the camera to the back and pretty much said that this was a legit sellout and everything, pretty much showing the entire crowd and everything. And pretty much he thanked everybody. He thanked the fans for all coming out here. He thanked anybody that has watched Monday Night Raw and everything, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. But they were going a little bit over. I wish they would have went overtime another 15 minutes just so we could hear a little bit more from Stone Cold. But Austin, he pretty much talked about Gerald Briscoe. They were talking about doing some illegal stuff in South Africa. He had a little bit more time left, and he was wondering what he should do. And, Coach said, come out there and be yourself. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm being myself. He drank a little too much, but we got a countdown, right? He says, don't expect no Christmas cards or shit like that, which they blocked out. But pretty much at our time, his music hit. Pretty much says, give me another hell yeah. The show closed, and that was it. So, to be honest, I actually thought somebody was going to come out and interrupt Austin. One thing I will say we didn't get was a Stone Cold Stunner. I know we got Kevin Owens doing it nowadays and stuff, but it would have been cool to see another Stone Cold Stunner. But honestly, looking at this reunion show tonight, with all the legends being on here and everything, listen, we all know this was to pop a rating at the end of the day, and I heard USA wanted this anyway, because I know they're replaying the show right now as we speak. But listen, I will say the ending to this whole thing, Austin's promo was, I will say, it was from the heart. It was very genuine, and he was just really happy to be there. And I'm not gonna lie, I popped when he came out. It's Stone Cold, okay? Like, you don't really see him on Raw that much nowadays, just showing up in WWE in general, because there'll be times where he just popped up half time through the show, but just seeing him pop up again just to do his whole thing, it's still one of the biggest pops to this day. I don't give a fuck what anybody tells me. When he comes out and the glass breaks, you know shit is about to go down. All right, listen, I'll tell you right here, man, he is one of the main reasons I ever started watching professional wrestling to begin with. I've been watching this shit since the Attitude Era, and it is still fun to watch him come out to this day. Okay, so like I said, there's like many people in the Attitude Era and everything. It's the reason why I watch this show, but he is one of the top reasons why I am still watching this today. So it is still cool. I don't care what anybody says. It is still cool to see him come out, just to come out to that music, to come out to that glass break. I don't give a fuck what you tell me or anything. That shit is still fun. Excuse me. But sorry for dramatic pause. Something wrong with the microphone there. But like I said, it is still fun to this fucking day to see Stone Cold come out there. But honestly, he was probably once again one of the best parts of the show. Because what did you really take from this Raw reunion show tonight when you look at it? Other than seeing multiple legends come back and everything just to get a rating and stuff, like I said earlier, all I can really say what you saw throughout the entire night was the 24/7 title being defended, multiple legends coming out, and I would say Stone Cold technically, because I'm sure a lot of people were waiting for that, so they saved Stone Cold and, you know, the bigger names for the end of the show, because of course you had DX out there, NWO out there, the Click, Flair, Bischoff, RVD, like anybody you just saw throughout the night that you've seen on Raw for years, they were just on this show. Now I'm sure people are gonna go from right now, what does this change now? Because should a Raw, I'm already hearing people say Raw could have ended off with like at least a big finale, not a big finale, but at least a big angle to set off the show, or something they could have left with to, you know, get people at least sinking in for next week. Because like I said before, I expected an interruption to happen. I expected Austin to start stunning motherfuckers left and right, to be honest. That's what I kind of saw. But yeah, like I said, other than, you know, all this stuff going on here tonight, you didn't really get that much matches, and the matches were either just really, really short when you look at it. Because like I said, the biggest things you could really take from the show, like I said, was what? The 24/7 title being defended all over the place, Austin, multiple legends, John Cena, and like the other names I've said before. That's all you really got from this, okay? Like, really no big angle to set off the show. It was just just a big celebration at the end. You just had a beer bash with Austin, and that ended off the entire show. So I'm sure people are saying right now this was just a waste of a build, especially in the SummerSlam in the next 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So where do we go from here, huh? Does it really leave you anything in for next week? I don't know. So is it back to business as usual next week? Yeah, that's pretty much what I can say from this. Other than them most likely popping a rating tonight, it's back to usual businesses as well. So there you go. But that's what you can take from this Raw. But did I enjoy this Raw with all these people coming back? Yeah, I did. I liked the entire first hour of the show. I felt like the show kind of dragged on at points and times, but until like somebody that, came back, that's what kind of, garnered my interest in stuff then. But because once it kind of got to the second, third hour, it's like show was just starting to drag that even I was like, can we just get the Stone Cold already and stuff? Like, when we get into this shit and everything. So until we got to that part, like stuff was just starting to drag. But it's like people say about the roster right now, like it's kind of a shame that the people that come back you haven't seen on TV get bigger pops than the current roster than what you have right now. Okay, so that kind of tells you something from that. But like I said, did I enjoy the Raw though? This whole reunion thing, yeah, I did on several parts. I'm not gonna lie. I got up. I did some shit enchanted stuff like DX's whole thing, or just Austin in general, other stuff. So like, don't get me wrong, Raw started to kind of go back into bullcrap mode and several times. Yeah, still jobbing out Joe and stuff, and a whole bunch of other silly things. But at the end of the day, this was just a reunion show, so you were gonna see a lot of nostalgia or silly stuff on this show, and this is what you got. Come on, the 24/7 title changed 8 times. Okay, Kelly, first woman to hold the 24/7 title. So there's a lot of crazy things that were going on this show tonight, though. So, like, I don't know what you could take from it. Like I said, tell me what you thought about the whole Raw reunion show. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it just good in your taste, if you want to go with that? I don't know what you can really take from this if you want to go from it. Like, I had some fun watching it, but now at this point, we got to go back into business into this. There's some things that didn't make sense, I thought, like the whole Click and DX NWO now against the club or the OC California and stuff, so that's why. But other than that, like I said, I had fun with lots of parts of the show, and like I said, I popped big for some stuff. I definitely popped big for when Austin came out, because that shit was fun. It's still one of my fucking favorites of all time. Okay, so there you go. But other than that, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about Monday Night Raw tonight. Did you like this reunion show? Did you like all these people coming back and everything? Even though I'm sure everyone will say this was a way just to pop a rating in general. Did you like this show? Okay? Anything. So just tell me what you thought about Monday Night Raw tonight. Okay? Just tell me what you thought. But other than that, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later, and peace. Like I said, follow me on Twitter at HoodieNight890, and we will be back with you tomorrow for SmackDown then. But I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.